Attention, this is a Code Ninja security advisory. We are tracking active threat CVE-2026-3203.
That's right, we've got an active threat on the wire, so let's get right to it. The vulnerability is designated CVE-2026-3203, and this is a big one. It's a critical denial of service flaw that directly impacts Wireshark. You know, one of the most essential tools in any security analyst's kit. Our mission today is to arm you with the intel you need to neutralize this threat.
Okay, let's talk specifics. The versions at risk are Wireshark 4.6.0 all the way through 4.6.3, and also the 4.4 branch, starting from version 4.4.0 up to 4.4.13. If you're running any of these, your analysis tools are currently exposed.
So the objective of this advisory is crystal clear. We practice what's called coordinated vulnerability disclosure. What that means is we get actionable intelligence into your hands right now, and we apply pressure on vendors to get those fixes out. We are here to protect the perimeter, period.
All right, before we go any deeper, we need to do a quick comms check. It's absolutely critical that we establish a secure intelligence link for future threats.
Here's the protocol. 1. Subscribe and make sure you enable notifications for real-time threat intelligence. In our line of work, that's non-negotiable. 2. Hit the like button. Consider that your formal acknowledgement that you've received this advisory. And 3, comment with your patch status. We need a community census to really gauge the blast radius of this thing.
So let's get right to the point. Are you patched or are you vulnerable? Report your status in the comments. We need to build a clear operational picture, and we need to do it together.
Comms check complete. Good. Now let's move on to the impact analysis. It's time to deconstruct this attack vector.
So at its core, what we're looking at is a buffer overread, classified as CVE-2026. The real danger here is in the flaw's simplicity. The software gets tricked into reading memory from a place it's not supposed to, and that causes the whole application to become unstable and ultimately crash.
And this is the trigger mechanism. An attacker crafts a malformed packet using the RF4CE protocol, you know, the standard for radio frequency remote controls. When your instance of Wireshark tries to dissect that malicious packet, it triggers the buffer overread and boom, it crashes. Just like that, your eyes on the network go blind.
Now, the National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has assessed the attack vector, and this is what makes this threat so incredibly severe. The attack vector is network, meaning it can be exploited remotely. The attack complexity is low. Privileges required? None. And here's the kicker. User interaction is also none. All an attacker has to do is get that malicious packet onto a network segment that you're monitoring. That's it.
Okay, this slide is critical, so pay attention. You're going to see conflicting severity scores out there. The initial reports from GitLab and SUSE, they're based on a local attack vector, which assumes an analyst has to, say, open a malicious file. But NIST correctly elevated the score to a 7.5 high because they identified the true threat here, a remote network-based attack. That's the score that matters.
All right, let's move to mitigation. This is the most important part of the briefing. These are your actionable countermeasures to secure your perimeter.
Your orders are simple and direct. Step 1, upgrade your Wireshark instances now. They patched versions are 4.6.4 and higher or 4.4.14 and higher. That's the permanent fix. Step 2, if for whatever reason you can't patch right away, there is a workaround. You have to disable the vulnerable component. And step 3, verify. Verify your environment is clean. Tenable has already released a Nessus plugin you can use to scan for this vulnerability.
For those of you that need the workaround, here are the explicit instructions. Inside the Wireshark GUI, you're going to go to the Analyze menu, then select Enabled Protocols. Just find RF4CE Profile in that list and uncheck it. This action prevents the vulnerable code from ever being executed.
So we've covered the threat and the mitigation. Let's wrap this up with a quick mission debrief on the disclosure itself so you really understand the why behind this public advisory.
Look, we disclose vulnerabilities like this for one reason and one reason only. You, the defenders, need to know you're at risk. Keeping this kind of information a secret, that only helps the adversary. Our core principle is to empower you to protect your systems.
And this timeline just shows you how quickly the security community can mobilize when it has to. The vulnerability was published on February 25th. The very next day, NIST corrected the severity score. And within a week, Tenable had a detection plugin deployed. This is the speed we need to operate at to stay ahead of the threat.
So, I'll leave you with this question. This vulnerability wasn't in a server or a workstation. It was in the tool you used to protect them. The adversary is targeting your toolchain. So, how are you protecting the very software you rely on for your defense?
That concludes this advisory. Go patch your systems. Stay vigilant. Stay secure.